In the 15th century, a time when the world was still largely uncharted, a man named Christopher Columbus emerged as an iconic figure in the age of exploration. This is the story of his life, ambitions, voyages, and the complex legacy he left behind. Christopher Columbus was born in the bustling city of Genoa, Italy, in 1451. From a young age, he was drawn to the sea, mesmerized by its vastness and mysteries. The maritime world fascinated him, and he harbored dreams of becoming a skilled navigator. But Columbus's ambitions went even further. He yearned to discover a westward route to the fabled treasures of Asia. His dreams were audacious, his aspirations boundless. As a young man, Columbus began to seek out opportunities to turn his maritime ambitions into reality. He understood that achieving such a monumental goal required not only courage but also financial support and royal patronage. His relentless pursuit of his dream led Columbus to the royal courts of Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand of Spain. He believed that their support could make his dream of a westward voyage a reality. The Spanish monarchs, inspired by his vision, decided to sponsor his audacious expedition. In 1492, Columbus set sail on a voyage that would change the course of history. Leading a fleet of 3 ships, the Santa Maria, the Pinta, and the Nina, he embarked on an epic journey into the unknown. Their destination was uncertain, their goal grand, to find a westward passage to the riches of Asia. As the ships sailed across the vast Atlantic Ocean, the crew faced uncertainty and doubt. Weeks turned into months, and still, there was no land in sight. Fear and mutiny loomed on the horizon. But Columbus remained steadfast in his belief. He was convinced that he was on the brink of discovering a new route to Asia, and he pressed on. Then, on October 12, 1492, land was sighted. Columbus and his crew had reached an unknown land, which he believed to be the islands of Asia. It was a momentous occasion, a turning point in history. Little did Columbus know that he had, in fact, stumbled upon the Americas, a continent previously unknown to the Old World. Columbus's curiosity and thirst for exploration were insatiable. He went on to undertake several more voyages, each revealing new wonders in the Caribbean and the Americas. These expeditions marked the beginning of European exploration and colonization in the New World. Columbus's interactions with the indigenous peoples and the establishment of Spanish colonies transformed the landscape and culture of the Americas forever. One of the most significant consequences of Columbus's voyages was the Columbian Exchange. This exchange of goods, crops, and cultures between the Old World and the New had profound effects on both hemispheres. European crops like wheat and rice were introduced to the Americas, while indigenous foods like maize and potatoes found their way to Europe. This exchange changed the way people ate, lived, and thrived on both sides of the Atlantic. Christopher Columbus left behind a legacy that is both celebrated and contested. On one hand, he is honored for opening the door to new worlds, ushering in an age of exploration and exchange. His voyages paved the way for future explorers and forever changed the course of history. The era that followed his expeditions saw a dynamic interchange of ideas, cultures, and commodities that reshaped the world. However, Columbus's legacy is also marred by controversy. His treatment of indigenous populations, including enslavement and forced labor, remains a source of intense debate. The arrival of European settlers in the Americas had profound, often tragic, consequences for the native peoples who had inhabited the land for millennia. In the annals of history, few names shine as brightly as Ferdinand Magellan's in the age of exploration. His life, marked by unwavering determination and boundless curiosity, took him on a maritime journey that would change the course of history. This is the tale of Magellan's early life, his quest for the Spice Islands, the trials and tribulations of his expedition, and the lasting legacy he left on the world. Born in 1480 in the bustling coastal city of Sabrosa, Portugal, Ferdinand Magellan grew up with the salty breeze of the Atlantic in his veins. From a young age, he displayed an insatiable curiosity about the world beyond the horizon. This curiosity led him to embark on a maritime career that would shape his destiny. In his early years, Magellan served the Portuguese crown as a skilled navigator and naval officer. His maritime career took him to various corners of the known world, from North Africa to India. His experiences at sea honed his navigational skills and kindled a fervent desire to explore uncharted waters. As fate would have it, Magellan's ambitions transcended his loyalty to Portugal. In 1519, he shifted his allegiance to Spain, enticed by the allure of a new opportunity, the quest to find a western route to the Spice Islands. These islands, rich in exotic spices like cloves and nutmeg, held immense value in the age of exploration. Securing a direct trade route to the Spice Islands became a paramount objective. In September 1519, Magellan's momentous expedition set sail from Seville, Spain. His fleet consisted of 5 ships, the Trinidad, San Antonio, Concepcion, Victoria, and Santiago, and a crew of approximately 270 men. Their ambitious goal was to circumnavigate the globe by sailing westward, a feat previously unattempted. One of the most significant events of the expedition occurred in 1520 when Magellan and his crew discovered and navigated through the treacherous strait that would later bear his name, the Strait of Magellan. This passage provided them with a vital shortcut, allowing them to access the Pacific Ocean and continue their westward journey. The voyage was marred by numerous hardships. The crew endured internal conflicts, mutiny, and the constant challenge of navigating uncharted waters. Provisions grew scarce, and the sailors faced unimaginable trials as they journeyed through the vast and often hostile expanse of the Pacific Ocean. In 1521, as the expedition reached the Philippines, a fateful encounter took place. Magellan was killed in a skirmish with indigenous warriors. His death was a profound loss, leaving the crew without their intrepid leader. The mantle of leadership was assumed by Juan Sebastián Elcano, a capable navigator. Under his guidance, the remaining crew pressed on, determined to fulfill Magellan's dream. In 1522, they achieved the remarkable feat of completing the first circumnavigation of the Earth, returning to Spain with tales of their epic journey. Ferdinand Magellan's legacy extends far beyond his time. His contributions to navigation and global mapping were groundbreaking. His expedition demonstrated the roundness of the Earth and opened new avenues for accurate global mapping. Magellan's voyage had profound and lasting impacts on global trade and European dominance in world affairs. It marked the beginning of an era of exploration and expansion that would lead to the establishment of vast colonial empires. The exchange of goods, cultures, and ideas between the Old World and the New World was forever altered. Both Christopher Columbus and Ferdinand Magellan shared a common ambition to find a western route to the riches of Asia. Their voyages were marked by audacity and a quest for discovery. They opened up new horizons, expanding our understanding of the world's geography. Columbus and Magellan's expeditions ignited the age of exploration, ushering in an era of unprecedented global interconnectedness. While both explorers sought to reach Asia, their journeys took different paths. Columbus's voyages led to the discovery of the Americas, unintentionally altering the course of history. In contrast, Magellan's expedition aimed to circumnavigate the globe and secure a direct route to the Spice Islands. His voyage was more focused on navigation and exploring the vastness of the Pacific Ocean. Columbus's interactions with indigenous peoples in the Caribbean were marked by initial encounters, curiosity, and, unfortunately, exploitation. Magellan, on the other hand, had more extensive interactions with indigenous groups throughout his journey, including conflicts in the Philippines. The outcomes of these encounters varied, with both positive exchanges and tragic consequences. The voyages of Columbus and Magellan had profound effects on global trade and cultural exchanges. They introduced new foods, animals, and ideas between the Old and New Worlds in the Columbian Exchange. These exchanges revolutionized diets, economies, and societies on both sides of the Atlantic, ultimately contributing to the emergence of European colonial empires. While the age of exploration expanded horizons, it also brought exploitation, enslavement, and the spread of diseases to indigenous populations. The long-term impacts on indigenous cultures and populations were often devastating. Critics argue that the benefits of exploration came at a high human cost, sparking discussions about the ethical dimensions of these voyages. Perceptions of Columbus, Magellan, and the age of exploration have evolved over time. While they were once celebrated as heroes, modern perspectives acknowledge the complex and often controversial nature of their actions. Efforts are now underway to reevaluate and contextualize their roles in a modern setting, considering the impact on indigenous peoples and global history. Columbus and Magellan were pioneering figures in the age of exploration, whose voyages forever altered the world. Their quests for new routes, encounters with indigenous peoples, and contributions to global trade reshaped history. The age of exploration was a transformative era that opened doors to new worlds and laid the groundwork for the modern globalized world. We encourage you to delve deeper into the age of exploration, exploring its many other key figures and events. There are countless stories of daring voyages and epic discoveries waiting to be uncovered. For further reading or related videos, check out the suggested resources in the description below. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the lives and legacies of Columbus, Magellan, and the Age of Exploration. We value your thoughts and invite you to share your comments, questions, or reflections on this intriguing chapter in human history.